Good morning, fourth period. Morning. All right, so taking a look at the work that you were doing in your workbooks, pages 1 and 2, a lot of the question marks that I saw and the questions that you guys were asking, thank you so much for asking them, was about how to do those sketches and the namings of things. All right, so let's sketch. You guys have to help me out. You need to give me something. Maybe sketch
A plane.
a plane.
Yeah,
Okay, we're going to sketch a plane. And let's have it intersected by something. Intersected
by another plane.
by another plane. Okay, let's name them. Plane, sketch plane R. Funky looking R. Sketch plane R intersected by plane B. All right, that's what our task is. Oh, I don't have any notes on this one yet. I'm doing the notes live. Okay. So I need to start off with a plane. A plane is some sort of rectangle figure. Is that coming up? Is that showing up? Sort of. Is that a little better? A little better? Okay, I'll try to make it darker. Okay, so there's one plane. I'll call this one R. And I need it to be intersected by another plane, and I need to name it B. Intersected means that it runs into it. Well, how do you want it to run into it? Completely your choice. It could run into it somewhere here in the middle, or R could be sitting on top of B, or B could be sitting on top of R. Where do you guys want it? Through the middle? Okay, so through the middle horizontally, so that means that B is going to be intersecting it somewhere here, and it happens at this line. So I'm going to cut this plane in half here, and then I'm going to stick a plane coming out of it this way. So I'm imagining now that this plane that I just drew is coming out, coming toward me. And when it does that, this part of plane R is now behind it. So I need to make this a kind of a dotted line. And I just erased it a little bit. It kind of shows up as a ghost line, like you can see it, but you can't see it. You'll want to make it a dashed line. Okay? Does that make sense? How I kind of did that? And I need to see some of the plane behind it, sticking out from behind R. So there's the part that I can see, and then very lightly, here's the part behind it that I kind of can't. So I'm going to use dotted lines there too to show it's kind of behind it. And I'm going to name this plane right here B. And that's how we would do an intersection sketch of two planes. Helpful?
Very helpful.
Very helpful. Good, I'm glad. There was another sketch that I know you guys had some trouble with. Sketch the plane R, X, Y, Z intersected by line EF at one point. You had something similar to that, yeah? I don't think it was a line in your case, but I mean close enough that it can help. So when you start with a plane, all right? We'll start with a plane. And I need to name it XYZ, so I need to have the points. Notice the name is different than the names above where it was just plain and then a letter. That letter didn't have any points associated with it. These do have to have points associated with them. And these are points that don't line up to a straight line. They're someplace else. Okay? It's intersected by line EF. So I need to put a line in here somewhere. So there's my line. But I need to have this line right now, the way I drew it, it looks like it's kind of laying on top of the plane, right? Or it's in front of it, or it's behind it somewhere. I need to make it clear that this line is going through the plane, because that's how those two figures intersect, like that pencil going through the sheet of paper. So, pow! Now, is this thing coming out from behind the paper, like it's coming and shooting towards you? Or is it coming from us and going into the paper and going behind it? Your choice, you pick. How do you want it to look? Like it's coming from this direction and it's going into the paper and going behind it? Or do you want it to look like it came from this direction behind the paper and it's shooting out this way? Going to the right? Okay, going to the right, and so it's going into the paper this way. So this side is going to be dark, and as soon as it hits here, it goes through the plane and ends up behind it. And then you can see it dark again on the other side. Now it looks like it's going into the paper as you go toward the right, because it ends up behind it. Do you see it? That's how you would sketch something like that. But I need to label it. So this is line EF. Here's a point. I guess I'll label it E, and I'll put the other point over there, F. You totally could have done it somewhere else. All right. Was that the only sketches that we were having trouble with? Oh, I think I remember there was another one that came up. Sketch, and then it gave you a certain number of lines. I'm going to do 5 lines, and then 4 intersections.
I think it was 3.
I think it was 3 and 3, but I don't want to show you 3 and 3.
Yeah, 3 lines that intersected 3 points.
Yeah. I don't want to actually do the 3 and 3 because then I'd be like handing you the answer. Yeah. So I'm going to do something sort of similar. So this one has 5 lines and we need 4 intersections. All right. So I know I'm going to need 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I draw it that way, there's no intersections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 4 intersections now. So this is one way that it could be done. Make sure you put your arrows. This is a total right answer. And your sketches could have multiple answers. So this is one way to do it. What about this? I only have 4 lines and I have 4 intersections already. Do you see it? Like if I stick it this way,
Or maybe you could just stop it at 1 intersection.
thing is that these lines go on for forever. So there's only really one way to make this kind of thing happen. Are you ready for this? I'm going to extend this guy out a little bit, and I'm going to draw a plane. I'm going to have this line going through the plane, right? And then I'm going to have some line on the plane. So these are happening somewhere else on some plane, and this guy is happening somewhere else on some other plane. So I have 5 lines, but I only have, oh, darn, I have 5 intersections. Grrr. But that's okay. We still managed to get one drawing of it. And that's the kind of frustration you might run into. If you, like, you tried it this, okay, this didn't work. Even though you're like, haha, I can do it this way, and then, oh, that's not. Just keep playing with it until you find something that's going to work for you. On these sketches, you can have multiple ways of drawing these things. And sure, the first couple aren't going to work out, like this. Ugh. It's okay. Scratch through it, try another one. Questions on the drawings of stuff? Feeling better about it now? Yeah? All right. Was there, since we've got a few minutes left, are there any other questions on anything else from your workbooks that I didn't cover that you guys would like to see covered? Nice. All right. So what this means is since I wasn't able to get to the calculator portion today, which came with part of the explanation of the new stuff, you have to watch that video on your own.